Alright, so welcome to Dreadnought Dreadnought Redux Part 24. Might as well be Dreadnought at this point. I know this had more videos in the original playlist. So, here I am, working out the superstructure. And not only do I plan on finishing that for this video, I'm also hoping to get to, getting in this little section of the boat here. And also seeing what I can do with that front bit that I filled in, just to make it kind of blend in to this happy fellow right here. And yeah, after that, I mean, not sure if I mentioned it before, but the missus and I seem to have very bad luck with keeping hold of our little cards. We freeze them every time we lose them, but, well, you know. So once again, this is the card that's always lost. But yeah, so while I wait for a new one of those to come around, I'm going to go ahead and work on this. And when I get these filled in, I'm going to go ahead and work on these back decks as well. Just get the rooms all sorted out. Alright. Well, with that little bit of silliness, here we go. Me, my big mouth, and my continual problems with getting this camera just right. So, I had a longer, about twice as long time-lapse section to show you, and I thought it was all good, and then I realized that the camera decided that its brightness was going to be not what I set it to for these upcoming shots. So, as you can see, I'm here doing pretty much the same thing I do before. Here what I do is I get that back funnel going. I take the measurements off the plan. I draw it out on the, I draw it out as needed onto the little back piece there. I trace out the outline, and then I proceed to cut the strips to the appropriate length. Again, this is the .080 by .010 inch strip. Again, I know I'm using the one that's just a bit too small. It does show more in this, but again, the reason I'm setting it just a slight bit smaller is that everything fits in. That's one of the first lessons I learned here, you see, is you got to make things height-wise just that little bit smaller, while still trying to preserve the horizontal dimensions. So it does show up more. It does show up a bit in all the ones after. But I think it's it was a thing worth doing just to be able to fit everything except that one single section in. Anyways, so here I am, making the appropriate cuts, sometimes using what I've already put down as a kind of a template. And there we go. Now I'm cutting that just about to the right size, and then when I got it in place, I'll glue it in. Eventually, I end up cutting out the inside of that funnel bit, but not before smoothing out the exterior, I guess. And then I look for what else am I adding, and this is when I realize, okay, I simply just extend these walls a bit to form a kind of interior compartment of sorts. So this is, I think, the bread room or the bakery. I think, yeah, there's a bakery, but the bread store was somewhere else. But this is like the bakery for the ship. Yeah, they had a bakery, hooray. Probably some technical ship thing, but I'm gonna run under the assumption that a bakery is a bakery. And there I am again, tracing out the so there was a kind of cross area with holes in the bulkheads that the plan says. So they're not doors, they're actually just kind of archways from what I understand, or rather what I'm going to assume. And then there we go, and I'm gluing that in place. And that lets me put in those bakery walls after that, which I think is the very next thing I do, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, looking at some things. I may do something else, but no, I'm doing the bakery walls. Goody. Just I must have been making sure where that door went. So there we go, carving it out, put it in place. Oh, I think it might have been a hole in the bulkhead. Carving it down to the proper size, gluing it all in place. And the other side actually had holes in the bulkhead as well, which I figured was really more or less a serving counter for the bread. So that's what I cut out here, something to try to look like that kind of geometry. Maybe I'll have a guy serving bread there to somebody else to carry it to one of the, galleys or the messes or something. All right, we're quickly approaching this shortened time-lapse section. At least as far as I know, we found that card, but now I gotta find out again how to control this camera into the right settings. Alright, hopefully this does me the big favor of actually working so I can, I don't know, have a video to show you. You know, for a guy who's supposed to design the tech for a living, I've got to be a frickin' Luddite or something. Something tells me I'm not the only one. What was it that guy in Futurama said? I do boilers and toilets and the boiling toilet. Hold on a sec. Here I have a quick conversation with my wife because I forgot to tell her I'd come back from picking something up. See, we can have loving conversations through yelling. You're just yelling through walls. Not 3 feet away from each other and angrily. That's not nice. You don't do that. Anyways, aside from that, like, really schlutzy public service announcement. So, yeah, just a quick recap of what I've done so we're all sort of caught up when I get back to time-lapsing. So, here I did the kind of funnel section. There's a little bakery thing here. And now I'm starting to work out these kind of side areas, which seem to be just mostly water closets. So, and after I've got that handled, then I'm going to go on to that next tech section, because I have yet to work up the brain cells to rub together to go online and order those things I need to enhance my photo etching abilities, which is going to rapidly become a thing, isn't it? Alright, well, I'm going to get back to filming and listening to... what is this audiobook? Well, that's a bit spicy. Okay, here we go. And go we shall. So, I was going to mention what I was reading, but I figured I'll be smart. I'll keep that closer to the chest. So here's me taking a wall section after I cut it with a scalpel and putting it in the appropriate place. Enjoy! Anyways, so here I am adding the wall for this first section here of the funnel area. And I go ahead and add some more walls. I've already traced out the outline of some of these rooms as far as I could tell. Kind of got some of these other walls wrong. They were angled and they should have been just straight down. I think I do end up making some of them straight down, but again, I do have the luxury of artistic license here. You know, if it looks cool, it's cool. But if I can be accurate in some places, I'm going to. So going right along, there I go. And this is just a big video of me essentially at 10 times the speed, cutting pieces of the 8.080 by 0.010 strip and gluing it in place with the Tamiya brush, because it's a much more precise instrument I found than that precision instrument I got from Micromark. This is not a mark against them as a vendor, by the way, and I'm not sponsored by those guys. They were just like the first website I found, essentially. But they're a good vendor as far as I can tell. They haven't given me any issues, and some other things have been great. I mean, look how much of the photo etch I used. That was that kit that they created. Anyways, so I'm sure you saw that moment where you saw everything from a different angle. That's because I've done this in multiple segments, because camera gives out in 18 minutes, give or take. And so what I did is it gave out, I looked at the camera, said okay, made sure everything was set to the right brightness, and put it back. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't find out in this editing session that I muffed up the lighting on you guys again. I'm sure it looks a little darker than it is. I mean, this is, to me at least, well lit. I can see everything. But I had to tone it down a bit in the camera because I wanted to make sure you guys got the detail rather than having everything be just whitewashed and way too bright for any sane purpose. So as I've been rambling on about not relevant stuff, I've been adding in walls to various rooms. And you see me there, I just removed a wall segment that was angled and really shouldn't have been, at least for this. And it's the same for the other side too. I guess I must have just saw the other bit of the plans on the other side of that double bulkhead hole wall. It was closer to me just a moment ago. It's to the left now of the funnel. Like there's that long wall you see, and then there's the funnel that did actually have things angle and turn in. Oh well. Guess I was a bit more asleep then, and I'm a little more awake now. So it looks like the rest of this video is going to be me pretty much cutting lengths of the strip and turning it into walls. Well, there's a quick summary. Yep, there I go again, turning everything around, because that's how I make sure that this thing is doing its job this time. I guess I could have edited it out, but, you know, maybe it takes away from some of the charm. Or maybe it keeps me awake. Oh, so here's something I, tried. So I tried taking a single segment. This is why you saw me do 3, using that one as a kind of model of it. And here I go, either checking something on Facebook or something for a moment there before getting back to the model. Again, I do this as a hobby. I do this in my spare time. If I can convince my phone to that internet exists in my basement, I do so. I'm sure y'all understand, and if y'all got your own hobby spaces, you've probably got them in rather remote parts of the house, because, yeah, when you break out the airbrush or something, somebody's gonna have good reason to be irritated with that, unless you've got ventilation, or like I've got just a bunch of space, because the smell never bothered my wife or my kids, which is great. It just bothered our neighbor. That's why I made that big room in the last place. Not that I didn't have such plans in this place, but the wife said, hey, I don't smell anything. So I'm like, oh, yay, I can save a buck or two. And plus, again, all this other, stuff I got to put in the basement, because life is life. I don't think anybody's got a really clean basement, no matter what they tell you. That, or they, I don't know, have older kids, or don't have kids, or they've bought a big storage unit. I really don't know. I also learned that I could put in those wall segments by gluing them first and then pushing them in and then gluing them after. And with that, I get to the end of this film. It came really fast. Alright, so figured I'd give you a slightly longer time-lapsey segment there. I seem to be having some trouble with this guy right here. I'll have to make some cross member or something. These little unsupported staircases, they're not archways there, which are just, I guess, bulkheads to hold other things up that, had a hole in them to let people through. But yeah, I figured I'd give you that little longer bit. So, essentially, just adding lots and lots and lots of water closets, and maybe a few other rooms as well. Changing, of course, things that I thought I got right, but I didn't, and yeah, I'll have to wait for this to dry before doing some more tweaking, so... Alright. You know what? I think I'll call it off here just because I do want to try to keep up the pace of videos, but to be honest, that's probably going to go down to maybe once a week, maybe twice at this point. Just kids are going back to school, I'm going to have a bit more to juggle, that kind of thing. Sure you all understand, but I'll try to keep the pace to at least once a week. Alright, so peace out for now. Enjoy. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Like, share, subscribe, hooray! Peace out.